Hello. Boy, I thought I would just do this last Madonna thing for this month, the last Madonna date for this month, which is coming up tomorrow, Halloween, the 31st of October. And of course, we're jumping back to this reference in Back to the Future with many other train references with Madonna. I've been through them all before. In fact, I've been through this one before as well. But I thought I'd just do a standalone title, with Madonna with the 31st of October. I don't know. I might have a video that's labelled that already. I'm not sure. But anyway, here goes the train. Yeah, this is essentially Madonna. This is essentially the Matrix. Yeah, this is essentially the Hoover Dam. In fact, I came across a very interesting. Um, it was an old silent film. You can actually watch it with I'll have to do a video on it with old Buster Keaton in it. And in that film, they have a scene where the train goes, kind of off the bridge, kind of collapses as it's going across. So kind of reminiscent of this scene a little bit. It's Wild West era type thing as well. And um, later on, just a few scenes later, we see a dam blowing up in the film. So it's again, you know, it's everywhere. The whole idea of the train connection and the dam collapse being connected. Anyway, we know that Madonna is connected to this particular train because there is a very similar train crash in Paris that has the train coming over out of the top of the station there down onto the pavement below, carrying 131 passengers. Okay, and it has a bunch of Madonna numbers on the train. Okay, just in case people aren't up to speed on the connection here with train and Madonna. Here's the gematria, so you can see um, super duper close numbers there. Okay, the 62s and the 26s and the 37s, right? So I don't really have much to add to previous videos on this. The only thing that I did think was interesting was I put a couple of. We're just going to go through a couple of the numbers real quick, and two things to note. Actually, let's go to the calendar real quick. The 31st, okay, is the 61st day of the year. Okay, so I have that 6-1 connection back to Marilyn Monroe. Okay. Um, but if we go to the other side of the year and we look at the 61st day of the year, okay, we're going to see something interesting that's going to tie us back to the Hoover Dam. So the 61st day of the year is March the 1st. Now, this is the federal takeover. It's what I call the federal. It's like the birth certificate for the Hoover Dam at that point. It's the federal takeover of the Hoover Dam. So we have the actual the Hoover Dam being dedicated on the 30th of September 1935, and then we jump to the following year, 36, and the 1st of March is the takeover. So we have this 13 reference, and of course M is 13. And if you watch people like Lambda, he's been doing a lot on the connection with the number 13 and 1331 and all these connections with that number to the moon. Okay, and obviously Mary is the moon, right? It is the matrix, or a version of that thing. It is the metaphysical. Okay, so a couple of little number jumps in here that I thought were interesting. The first one was from the 31st of March, which was Easter. So it'd be a good idea to do the Easter references, and we'll do a Christmas reference here in a minute, and just see what the numbers are coming up. 214 days. Okay, if you want to include end date 215. So, but that is interesting. The 21st of April with the Queen's birthday. So that's kind of an interesting number. Then what else do we have? Oh, we'll do that in a minute. Um, what else do I want to show you? I wanted to show you this connection with Christmas now. Okay, so we want to do all the like connections with Easter and Christmas and all the rest of it. If you've been watching the stuff on the channel, 311, you'll already know what the 311 man is. Billy Idol has obviously a reference back to this number with his birthday, the 30th of November. But 311 man is, again, just little back references. That's another song by Billy Idol. So there's just little back references with this connection here. And this is something that shows up in the dollar bill. Okay, without going into a whole bunch of detail, it's part of the dollar bill decodes. Okay, if we go from, obviously, 131 is an inverse of this number as well. No, it isn't. It's just the ones on the other end of it. Sorry. This is an inverse of Easter, is what I was meaning to say there, which is 331. Okay, and if we go through to Christmas, look at our magical 55 days right there. So the 55 lightning strike, the lightning strike in Back to the Future. You know, the metaphysical again. Okay, the Holy Spirit. Okay. Anyway, so that's kind of interesting. What else have we got in here, Dan? If we go from another Easter reference, which was the eclipse, because obviously the eclipse is a reference to Easter, or Easter is a reference to the eclipse, you know, going inside the tomb, and then when the sun finally comes out and rises again, the idea of that rock, the moon rolling out from the tomb, which is the rock rolling away from blocking the sun. Okay. Anyway, it's kind of interesting with this 206 number here, and with the connection with Train, with Madonna, yeah, with the 6226. I thought that was kind of interesting as well. Just all superficial stuff, really, but you know, kind of interesting. What did I have down here on the end here? Oh, that was the Christmas one again. I thought let's do, obviously, who is portraying the the Christ figure at the minute is, they're kind of running with old Donald Trump as that, you know, reference. And so if we go to Donald Trump's birthday and we look through 139 days, well, this is interesting as well. If we go to the chart of Lorraine, and excuse the purple in here, what the purple is this row doesn't normally exist in the chart. It's the missing 4 row, as I call it. I never built the chart with this in there to begin with, because I went for symmetry. So this is kind of this row that you can, you know, you can look at it, but it's not part of the totals down here. But if we look at the green totals, okay, what we see is that 139 is the total for the completion of this 7 column here. Okay, so this is kind of interesting with the 139. And note that it also shows up with 5, 9 here as well, with the cross-reference to 5 and 9. 139 shows up down here as well. What is also interesting is that Donald Trump's birthday shows up with the totals when we include this purple row across here. And what did I want to say about that? If we look, what I want to do is I want to show you this. Let me get rid of this crud that I've put on here. I just wanted to show you this real quick, right? And then we'll be done with the video, because I haven't got a whole bunch more to add to this apart from, check out the 73 and the 118. Okay, well, it's right here. And note that Donald Trump's ear wound 7. If we read back from the middle of this, I put a little dot here. If we read backwards, here we have our 13th of July, ear wound, which I thought that's kind of interesting. I'll tell you another interesting thing is that on the 18th of, so the numerology for this 118, on the 18th of October, I'm pretty sure that was the date when Ford predicted, the first female president. Okay, and I think that's 47 days left in the year. Don't quote me on that though. Or is it 74 days left in the year? Probably 74 days left in the year. Sorry, and that is kind of interesting with the 47th presidential thing coming up now. So again, this is kind of interesting with these numbers right here, okay? But what I'm pointing at is obviously we want to keep our eyes and ears open for the 8th of November for Donald Trump, especially as it's tying into that ear wound, that number there. But underneath this, directly underneath it, is Madonna's numbers intertwined with the one. If we look backwards here, we got 861, and it's intertwined with the 139, which is super duper interesting. With the 139 days from Donald Trump's birthday, and having that number up here, and then this other connection maybe with the 118 with, there's obviously other places where 118 connects to Donald Trump, but that's kind of interesting, that little tie in there. A couple more things to note, and then I'll be done. Hang on. One more thing to note. If we go from Madonna's birthday through to the 31st, it's 76 days. Okay. Now, that number has a total up to this point. If we add all these numbers up to this point, okay, and it ties in with this number here, because it's going to be one less than this number here in the 11 column. We jump over, one full column here, the 10 column, and our number is 198 for our total up to that point. Oh, if I could just write an 8. Okay, 198. Flip that number around and we have Madonna's birthday numbers. Okay, that's Matthew Perry's birthday date, the 19th of August. So again, of course, she ties in great with Matthew Perry. And there was an interesting thing, that whole story with Trump right now with the garbage thing. If you go back to Pierce Brosnan as Bond, I think it's the world is not enough. There is a song by Garbage that they do the Bond song for that film, and obviously we can tie in a whole bunch of stuff. But when you go back to Friends with, sorry, convoluted again, but if you go back to Friends with that scene with Phoebe where she's pretending to be Joey's agent that has just died, okay, I'm sure there's some garbage posters in the background in that scene. I don't know, it's a bit of a long, convoluted connection there, but yeah, kind of weird. Anyway, I'm going to end it there. It's 11:59. The thunder is going off in the background. Storms. Kind of interesting. My daughter was coming back from work tonight and ended up getting stuck on the road because a power line had come down and she'd driven underneath it before she even noticed. I don't know. Storms going on, power lines down. Kind of hints back to me at Back to the Future and that whole thing. We had, had to go out and we end up waiting for the, some legit official people to come along, and they backed her out of there. She was fine, but yeah, just weird stuff like that. I know most people wouldn't even read into that at all, but I'm like, Power lines coming down like in Back to the Future when it's storming. And we haven't had any rain we haven't had any real storms or anything. No rain. We've been in drought for like the last month, and I can't remember now. It's just been so hot and dry. Super unusual for this time of year. Obviously, they started piling in the old chemtrails 2 days ago, and now we've storms. Um, it wouldn't surprise me if there's going to be some, a big tornado somewhere tonight. Anyway, got to be done. That's it. We're already into the 31st, so this will be coming out on the day. Again, I'd also be one other date to keep an eye on is 4/11. It would be kind of interesting, wouldn't it, if Joe Biden was to kind of pop his clogs like the day before, and Kamala ended up being the 47th, and then that stuck, and then maybe Trump got in as the 48th. I don't know how that works, and I guess there could be a possibility that I don't know. There could be a possibility like something like that happens slightly later on, like on the 8th of November, right before the 10th. So that would be kind of interesting. I don't know. As crazy as the stories are right now, with with the garbage truck story, it's bordering comical. Some of this stuff. I mean, it's not bordering. I mean, it just is. It's just absolutely insane. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm trying to think if there was anything really particularly. If something happens, obviously I'll do a bit better video. But it's just interesting little connections, and you can do this but you can kind of do this thing for quite a number of dates. So it's one of those things that these little tie-ins. There's a lot more. Dates tie together a lot more than I think people realize. A lot more than I realized to begin with when I started looking at this stuff. So, but yeah. Anyway, there you go. This is the I guess again with the Trump line here in the 45th. I know. What's that little more thing? Let me just show you one other thing, because notice this 20 here. Yeah, and notice the 20. Notice also across here, like this is like, I know this is getting a bit. Hang on a minute, let's make this a little bit easier. Let's just do one more thing here. Let's just go to get rid of this mess off of here and get rid of all that purple stuff. Okay, note that we had across here was I've talked about all this before, but anyway, this is what I call the cross of St Andrew, the Great Scott. Okay, it's in the table, and the bottom part of that cross forms the clock tower. Okay, so there's a pillar here, a pillar here, a pillar here, and a pillar here. Okay. Oh, I guess also notice that the 139 also is right next to the 88, which again, Trump and 88 go hand in hand. Okay. Notice the 55 is in the doorway here. That's the fifth element. That's the metaphysical. That's why it's the doorway. It's just a black monolithic doorway right here in the clock tower, or in the temple. Okay. Notice this 20 up here. Okay, notice that this is the clock tower, and here's our 10:04 that's on the clock, and then when the lightning strikes, which is symbolized by the 55 stylized, hitting the top of the clock tower here. Notice that 9/11, when the lightning comes through to send Marty home, 9/11 is right here on the wire. Okay. What did I want to say about this 20? I had something with the 20. I think it was, no, 9/11 maybe. I can't remember now. No, 9/11 was 50 days, so that's really important with hitting the bullseye. Okay. That is, yeah, that is pretty damn important there. And then I think, let's go to the Hoover Dam's birthday as well. So the 29th, which 32 days left, which again, this is important as well because 131, I guess there was some more stuff in here that I needed to talk about. Hang on a minute. Where did I have that? 131, the 32nd prime is the 32nd prime. Okay, so that was, again, yeah, that's kind of interesting. Okay, and notice the 23 down here as well, opposite the 331 of Easter this year. Okay, can't remember what the 20 was. What was the 20? I don't know. Anyway, if we put 32 in now, let's see the connection with 32. So that's the 32nd prime. Let's got to think for a minute. This thing's ancient. Come on. Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to point out. Is the 32 is the 20th composite, and the 32nd composite is 48. Okay, so that ties nicely in. And then don't forget on the actual dartboard itself, it's right here, 203 or 23 or 32 straight up and down. Again, super duper important. Madonna stuff's all, off at an angle here. Oh, there's our 2, 1, and 5 nestled in there. I don't know. I didn't put in 172 days to see where that took us. But that's pretty important with the straight up and down, the resurrection, the erection of man. Okay, and then the bullseye in the middle, the number 50. Was there anything else I wanted to mention? No. I think we'll just leave it there. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. We're just going around in circles with the numbers, but it's interesting nevertheless. Anyway. I don't think there was anything else. See 130. Oh, there's our 305 as well. So also note on the cross here is, well, you can't read it very well, but it's 53. Okay, on that corner. So this is all numbers that all tie in nicely. Okay. Thanks for watching, and yeah, keep your eyes and ears peeled, I guess. I mean, it seems like it would be a good opportunity for something significant, especially in the next few days, especially with the craziness of the stores that are coming out right now. Alright, cheers, bye.